Oh, hi, everybody.
Oh, hi. Hey, everybody, this is Linkara.
And Iron Liz.
And we are recording a commentary for Suburban Nights.
Yes. This is one of many, but hopefully we'll be able to give you a unique perspective, largely since I was working more on the production side of things. So I was there for pretty much all the filming and all of the the nitty-gritty, as it were.
We open up with Bill. May God rest his soul.
Actually, we ran across Bill when we were filming the second day. He's actually incredibly bright. I don't think making him a stoner does him any justice, but he was really interesting to listen to, and just when he was talking about the research he was doing. And as you can see, it was not it was incredibly windy pretty much every single day we were filming.
True that, but the nice thing about the wind is that, like in the last part when we have those group shots, we have a lot of bits where, since we all have like capes and dress and everything, and it has a cool wind effect.
That's true, but you can see Orlando is holding onto his hat, and if you'll notice in the last shots of the battle scene, we actually had the witch hold on to her hat as well, because without it, they blew away. Was it Phalis who did the special effects for this, or?
It was Phalis and Matt Burkhart, the former Apollo Z hack, both of whom did a spectacular job on these effects. Just beautiful work. I mean, sure, we're not Industrial Light and Magic, of course, but sure as hell better than what I can do.
Absolutely. I mean, in the rough cut versions of the movie, when Doug sent it out, we got more or less the added in special effects, but we didn't see everything in there. So, yeah, I do enjoy how they came out. So,
dude. If there's one thing that I hope gets changed for the DVD edition, I could hear it just fine, because, you know, I'm perfectly fine just adjusting the audio on my speakers and whatnot, but a lot of people complained that they couldn't hear Orlando during these bits because he was speaking very softly. And, yeah, I could see where they're coming from.
I think, too, with this version, this year, the production really tried something new in that they tried to give a more story-based, story-based review, or movie, or what have you. The Kick-Assia, as awesome as it is, it's kind of just a lampoon of each character.
It's meant to be just a fun Looney Tunes farce.
Right.
Versus this, which is supposed to be meant as a action comedy piece.
Mm-hmm. And I think it, in that regard, the story works well, because most veterans who are going to be watching this are going to know everybody's character, or at least know of them, but adding, you know, these unknowable elements like Bill or some of the other extras that they had does help build the mystique a little bit behind it.
Half the fun of these anniversaries, I think, coming... I mean, here's the thing. I do kind of regret the fact that I watch a lot on That Guy with the Glasses, and yet I still can't watch everything. I do kind of feel bad for the fact that I can't go back now from the perspective of someone who's a non-fan and enjoy these for the first time.
Oh, and there's the blood splatter. That turned out really well, actually.
Yeah, some people complain that it didn't look good. It looks fine to me. It looks great.
Considering how we basically had no budget, I'd say it's pretty good.
Anything goes for the car explosion.
Yep.
Boom! And now the epic credit sequence with Skitch's theme song. And yes, it does have a kind of Pirates of the Caribbean feel to it, but I like that. It feels adventurous.
Right. I think, personally, I think with last year, Skitch did a really good job on kind of the Civil War feel, a little bit to Kick-Assia, kind of the rugged warrior sort of theme, but this one does capture a different feel to it. I think he does really good work with it.
And of course, CR's awesome drawings here of everybody. I didn't even know he was doing this. There's a lot of behind the scenes stuff that was going on we didn't know about in terms of like the final product. This Benzai's girlfriend Marion doing the ending artwork. I think there was one or two other bits that I can't think of right now.
There are actually several scenes that were cut from the script that included additional actors and actresses. One part that was effectively cut was about a zombie woman named Mildred.
Well, the zombie woman got reconfigured into the witch warrior.
Yep. And
well, yeah, that's right. When the first draft of the script, originally Phalis was going to get bitten
by the
zombie woman, and that would trigger his transformation into more of a hulking zombie figure. And then I think he was still going to do the reveal of, come on, guys, it was just a character I was playing.
Yep, he did that, but I believe there was another person that they had to remove from the folks. The original script probably would have been about a 3-hour movie.
Yeah,
I'm thinking there were additional pieces that they literally cut for time. I'll mention it too when we get to the scenes, but one of the scenes in particular that I can remember, we almost didn't film it, but that was also because of the first filming day. But we'll get to that.
We would exhaust our entire commentary supply all in the first part.
Right.
Oh.
And this is the first time I think, at least in a large-scale production like that, you do see some of the original people that are kind of in the workings of the movie. So, like, the Joe here, gotta love that look on his face.
I want a free car, I'm gonna boast about it to everybody.
But that's Mike Michaud. He's the head honcho.
Michaud, our boss.
Yep, he's the executive producer right there.
And Joe just told him off.
There he goes. Yep, and this is outside the Walkers is, so...
Yep, out in No-Namia.
Yep.
We're really kind of idiots, aren't we?
Well, this scene actually, if I recall correctly, this was shot at about 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning. And everybody here, the coffee that Lindsay's holding, that's actually coffee.
She's always drinking coffee.
Right.
She's a coffee addict.
But more to it than that, it was just, it was that early, and it was more out of necessity. Shortly after this scene, I think, shortly after this scene, Holly and I went out to get breakfast, so...
And a fine job you did.
Well, it's kind of I think for next year, they're going to have a bit more streamlined how they do things in terms of catering, because the first meal we had was McDonald's, and we had menus out for people, and so they would individually write down what they wanted. But the problem being is that we'd have like 25 different orders that we had to arrange at the store and everything else.
Well, we did that for Kickassia as well. Bargo and I originally went out and got orders for everybody. One day, Bargo was always doing the orders and whatnot for Kickassia, and there was always at least one person who was accompanying him on those trips.
Oh God, I think in terms of mugging, Matt is fantastic in this movie. He
got the crazy eyes.
The facial expressions that he has are just priceless.
Better be a boat.
I think the reason actually we had Benzai pop out underneath Brad's legs was because you can't see him in this shot, I don't think.
I think it was actually that he was in the other room and didn't realize we had started filming.
Exactly, because he's not in this shot right now.
And so they hit upon the idea of what if he just like popped up from between Brad's legs?
Yep.
I think they want to do that with another character too, or just like keep Benzai down there the entire time.
Right, and have it be a running thing.
Yeah, but I think what happened was that that we just couldn't get the camera right to do it multiple times. Oh boy, a movie! And Luke Mockery, very mellow and fun individual.
He actually got sick the first couple days.
Yep,
if I recall correctly, he was sleeping through a good part of it in the basement because he had a really bad stomachache, I think.
Yep, he spread his illness around to a bunch of other people.
Oh yes, the plague. Everybody
the Luke Mockery plague. Yes.
Got sick. Either upon returning home or throughout the production.
We didn't, because
Nope.
in preparation for this trip, I brought along a whole bunch of medication.
Oh, there he is. Benzai.
Benzai is Brad's crotch. When I first read the script, I really did. I suggested to Doug, well, why don't we have it be like Laurie Prince doing this? And he's like, yeah, that's a good idea. The problem is that that I like to get my dad in on this and have him do this.
Initially, I thought Larry Prince here is played by the Walker's father. I was, again, great look on Rob's face, but I thought he was the shopkeeper in Ed Glazer's
Press start?
Press Start, yep.
Ah.
And there's Holly. She's the human resources lady. She was the person I was working with.
And she updates the site every single day, and she is so awesome for doing so.
Yeah, the two of us were driving people around, getting food, picking up after people, basically doing everything that you normally wouldn't see. So, actually,
That laptop nailed to the wall.
the laptops are actually no, those make sense. I actually asked the the Lego Maniac Zach, that's his house. Those are laptops whose screensavers were disabled, and they basically just got permanently damaged. They're old laptops. They're from like the early 90s or late 80s. So they would be stuck with these elaborate colors. And so he bolted them to the wall and plugged them in, and they're like artistic pieces.
Oh, spiffy.
So that's why he put them up there. I think yeah, everybody was wondering about that, and I asked him. But I think they look good. Some of the patterns are very like nebulous and cool looking, so. You just gotta love, too, like, how everybody, it seems, like, in these stories, we all just hate each other, hate Doug. He's kind of like this Napoleonic megalomaniac, you know?
I had to actually add in some of the bits about magic, because Doug does not have the time to watch all of our videos all the time, and so when he suggested there's no such thing as magic, and I just raised my hand and said, yeah, my character like went through this horrible thing involving Silent Hill, and is all about magic and stuff. So yeah, I gotta express myself. Also, actually, the line that I originally suggested was just me holding up the magic gun and saying ahem, because hey, magic gun. He even calls it the magic gun all the time.
If you'll notice, Paw's shirt is actually a David Bowie shirt. And apparently he was originally slated to be...
Jareth from Labyrinth. I did not know that until Eduario mentioned it in the other commentary.
Which I don't know if it was intentional that he wore that shirt, but I realized it later, and everybody was asking because it's a very feminine looking person on it. So who is that? Oh, it's David Bowie, really?
And there's Spoonie wearing his Samurai Zombie Nation shirt. I should wear my t-shirts more in my videos. Hey people, I've got this t-shirt. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. So once again we decide to go off into parts unknown to follow the nostalgia critic for this legendary journey. Oh, actually, he told us we're going to get fired if we don't do it. I like the fact we do walk away, though, because we're like, no way in hell this is going to work.
Like, Matt is always making weird faces.
He's always smiling. He's happy.
Oh, God. He gets into character, and he doesn't leave character.
And I get how people dislike the fact that in the anniversary specials, he's not the same as he is in his reviews, where he's a lot more serious, a lot more snarky, and a lot more analytical. But the thing to remember with all this is, if we had a real problem with how we were portrayed in these, we wouldn't do it.
Right.
It's not like we're terrified Doug is going to like yell at us and bar us from anything like that. No, we have input.
Right.
We're allowed to say this, and we enjoy this because you know what? We have fun and we think it's funny.
Yeah, and I think this has probably already been answered, but all of the costumes and everybody's parts weren't chosen by the actors. It was part of the script that Doug wrote.
It was a little he did choose them, but we had some back and forth on it. For example, he asked me originally if Camelot really was my favorite movie, which is what I said, and he asked me if I could do a Richard Harris impression and if I can sing, because that goes into the scripting. If I had no ability to sing, then I don't think he would have had me doing the running gag of the singing.
That sword was actually incredibly brittle. It was made of not balsa wood, but something very, very light. Where in retrospect, I'm not surprised it broke in the slightest. And actually, that card that Bargo is holding, we actually lost that
That's sad. We could have sold that.
on the first day. Well, Bargo is very, shall we say, well, his head's in the clouds, it seems like a lot of times. So this was recorded, I think, on after everybody was done shooting, but Bargo, we originally had 5 copies of the script, and I think that everybody signed them, and they might go up on eBay somewhere, but we originally needed highlighters because we had 1 copy of the script, and that was Doug's master copy, and he needed a highlighter to, make sure that he got
His lines
the parts that he had done. So we sent Bargo out to get some highlighters, and he comes back 3 hours later with 5 copies of the script and no highlighters. So Holly was just so aggravated with him. It's like, I told you to get highlighters and it took you this long. Well, we needed extra. It's just like, if we'd given him a cow to trade to market, he'd come back with some magic beans. But Bargo didn't realize either that he went to Kinko's and they do sell copiers or highlighters there. So it was always like that with Bargo. He'd always come back with something different. So
We love you, Bargo.
oh, we love you too. I'm just
it's just you're a little
giving you
spacey
ribby.
sometimes.
We're just ribbing on you a little bit. I make mistakes too all the time, but. Again, I think those establishing shots were done on the 3rd day, I think.
Mm-hmm. Wouldn't surprise me if they did them completely later, though.
Well, right.
There was plenty of shots that were not done while we were there, just because we had the time crunch, and so anything that we knew could be completed with Doug on his own. The bum was shot on his own, away from us.
Yeah, it's funny. Throughout this entire production, the first day that we all arrived, Doug basically said, let's get this done, let's do whatever, but please don't look up my skirt. Despite the fact that I think every one of us had the unfortunate effect, either through wind or just, catching him at the bat. I think everybody in the end saw up Doug's skirt.
Well, I think at one point he just fell over, so we saw it.
Yeah, we got a full moon right there, but... Also, if you'll notice, too, Joe's... This was done the first day. Joe's sword isn't broken here.
How did it get broken?
I think the point was pointed to the floor and too much weight was put on it and just snapped that way. But in all the other scenes, it's taped up.
All this post-production stuff, we all did our lines while we were at home. And of course, me and the makeup beard.
I do really like the logo. We had the prop lady swap that out, and it turned out really well. Even the color of the grays matched up well, and that's hard to do.
We went to Joann Fabrics, and we were lucky enough that there was a gray that looked close enough to the outfit.
Right, because they effectively removed that middle piece, and if it was the wrong color, it would stand out really well.
We didn't remove it. What we did was she laid it out and got it as centered as she could, sewed it over the old one, and then using iron-on paper, ironed on the logo.
Oh, Lindsay. Okay, so here's another story about production. The first Lindsay was always, and again, I'm not ribbing on anybody to be mean, but she was always a little bit late in the mornings just because she's not a morning person, and she forgot her makeup that first day. In addition to Benzai there missing his wig, that's the douchey McNitpick. So that first day, before they got into costume, I went back with Holly and Benzai first to get Lindsay's makeup bag, but then to try to find that wig. So there was a moment in time, literally, when I was digging through, she had given me her room key and said, oh, it's kind of at the bottom of my bag. I was digging through her suitcase going, oh, there's some of her Whoa. I am digging through the Nostalgia Chicks underwear now. That is really surreal. I never thought I would be in that point.
And a million fanfics are born.
Also, though, when we were looking for Benzai's wig, he turned up his entire suitcase and whatnot, and of course a box of condoms falls out. And it's like, Benzai, what are you expecting?
Better
on this?
safe.
And he just like, well, I want to hand out condoms if people need them, and it's just Benzai.
Benzai
You
believes
seeing somebody like, what?
Benzai believes in safe sex.
That's fine. I thought it was funny, and
Oh God, Phaelus! He plays the psycho so damn well.
no, Phaelus is actually incredibly quiet.
Oh,
He's very reserved unless you get him going onto something. And I think Doug actually had to keep saying, you got to go more over the top. Just keep going higher, because he was normally not as. He's not at all like this in real life.
he's tall and quiet, and he's just like he is a force of nature who just waits for the perfect opportunity to strike.
Unfortunately, I think Marshall a little bit got the shaft on her lines because the kind of running gag is, oh, she's speaking Japanese, but that seems to be the only kind of thing that she had, which is a little, I wish, like, you see with Matt and Luke Mockery, they kind of have that rivalry going, and Mike, I don't know.
I think it's funny what she says, because here's the thing. Now, someone suggested that the thing that's irritating is that it's not really a joke. It's just her speaking Japanese and not doing it right. But the thing is, I think it would have been more insulting if she had been like speaking nonsense and gibberish, because it would have looked like that they didn't even bother to try to learn the language. And it's not like Lindsay went out of her way to learn Elvish. She's never speaking any Elvish in this.
That's true.
She's speaking Gaelic and Hindi.
Oh, Brad.
So
here's a fun. When we got to the hotel, Brad didn't actually fly, as he said in this. In the movie, he actually rode a train because he lives in Springfield.
Well, that also because he is absolutely terrified of flying. I mean, I was with him on the plane ride to Reno for Cagassia. He's not a good flyer. He is constantly nervous, is always afraid. He basically knocked himself out to survive the plane ride.
Well, Brad, when he first checked into the hotel, he was dressed in his costume on the train. And when his last name is actually Jones. So when he got to the hotel, he's like, yes, I've got a reservation for Jones. And he's dressed as Indiana Jones. It's like, oh my God, Pa.
Yes, give me your rage.
He's got a lot of energy with it, and he mugs very, very well. I am very happy with how he did Jeremy Irons.
We're a big group of muggers, aren't we? we love to put ourselves out there to do goofy faces for the camera. And Todd. No one knows who the hell he is because he's always in the shadows.
Lindsay's dress, too, I think was a size 4. And she's pretty tiny, but it was definitely...
It's still too tight on
Yeah,
her.
it was very, very tight. So several times she actually kind of had to sit down and catch her breath because I don't think she could breathe right in it.
I always loved reading the speculation from the teaser and whatnot, who we were playing. Very few people guessed that Tom was Willow, and I think it's because of the fact that Willow is an older older fantasy movie. Not many people of our generation have seen it.
Another shot that we were planning on doing but we didn't get done here is, all the women kind of go up and fawn over Justin there, but we also wanted to have Benzai kind of pop out between... Justin's legs there when we a second time, but they said no. And I think this was right around the same time that Hi, my name is Benzai, that video came out. Several times when we were shooting, it's like, why does everybody think I'm gay? It's like, Benzai, do you not? But yeah, Benzai is great. He's a lot of fun to be around, even if he complains a lot.
But yeah, since I didn't plan to have since we decided not to do the makeup beard the whole time, that's why we had to add in this line of people asking me, where's I ran out of Sharpie. It just had to be added in because otherwise people would ask and they're like, there'll be no continuity. Where's Linkara's beard? Anytime we have to do a major continuity change like that, we always have to mention it.
I love that look, that way that Kaylin gives the other two women there. She's just so satisfied, like,
You're mine now. May the light of Erendil shine ever upon you.
Oh, Spoonie. Spoonie did really well with his role. He just got into it on all of his lines. The staff that he had, too, I think they were worried about being able to get it home because it was so large, you couldn't take it onto the plane.
Yeah, it had to be mailed to Holly originally when he bought it. Mm-hmm. Along with my Green Ranger helmet, which I also got at the time. I had to mail that out to Holly because it wasn't that I was afraid of it being away, but I was going to use it for crossovers.
Now, Bargo's ring there, the heart ring, that's not actually... in the early 90s, they did sell the rings from Captain Planet.
Really?
I think they were trying to find a replica of it, but they couldn't get one in time. So I think that it's just a plain costuming ring, but... I do recall thinking, oh, did they actually track down the heart ring? Because it was probably not one of the more popular ones. I actually knew someone in first grade who had the one for Earth.
Even then, it's not the original Mati ring anyway, because in the Brawl, he had a completely different ring. I think the one they chose to do had 2 dolphins on it. You can see it in some of the behind-the-scenes stuff for the Brawl. Every time, I think they just give him a new ring every single time to try to find the lamest and most childish thing they can find each time. They're so sweet and innocent.
Yeah, Mati is definitely the bitch in this group.
The trailer. We're doing it for the trailer! It's a good trailer shot, and of course we are in the complete wrong order when we walk up.
Of course, it's just...
I imagine that we're just so disorganized that that by the time we reach the hill, we've already shifted around, and some are walking faster than others. We just, get into a different line by then.
I'm actually glad that Benzai decided not to use the plastic chest that he had gotten with it. It was like this big kind of fake pink plastic chest thing, and I don't think it would have worked as well if it wasn't just bare-chested Benzai. Oh, Matt.
He says
Every time I see him, he's just...
He says that wasn't intentional. And the pole.
Oh, yes, and change places!
Oh, we have fun. And of course, sometimes people would slow down and like, who the hell are those people? What are they doing?
No, we got a lot of people just watching us.
But we will talk some more about that probably in the next part, because we are coming up on the end here with the star of the show, Iron Liz herself.
Well, actually, it was meant to be Ed Glazer for that role, but
then he...
thanks to the weather, I had to assume the cloak position, as it were.
Yeah, because Ed took over as a second camera.
You can see my hair down in the lower right there.
That's fine. It's good you're in it, because you're there and you should be in it.
Those are actually driving gloves, as a matter of fact. I wore those gloves, the fingerless gloves, of driving out here, because we didn't fly, we drove. So, But we'll get into that a little bit later.
More on that next part.